yeah. One of those days. Who was first? Who was first in the chat? Stereo Decor. Hello, were you first? It's set to top chat, and sometimes that changes the order. Nope, it was you. Eatsy's here. Oxygen levels critical. Hello, Electro people. Is it Electro today? As soon as I saw your comment, I changed the title to Techno or Electro, question mark. That was for you. What's up, Alessandro Braz? Bug Tank, allo, allo, allo. Mundulator, Live Society. Silver Knobs, Handmade Detroit Techno. Aaron Hedges. How's Berlin today? This evening for you, right? Mike Oriza. Hello, friend. Luminous Cloud wants some meditation soundscape. I'll be honest, that's not where I was going, but I woke up today, honestly, with a splitting headache, and I was like, great, perfect for banging techno. Maybe you're onto something. I like that Foberheim, yes. I don't have any, I could use some Arturia V, OB kind of sounds, maybe. And yes, crazy week for many reasons, we all know. Silver Knobs Paranoia Reverb Saturday. That's a good one. I like that. And we got some Depeche Mode action here. Luminous Cloud saw Depeche Mode. I've been liking them since I was a kid, basically. Early to mid 80s. Definitely right there with you. Although I just couldn't. It was hundreds of dollars to get tickets for their current show. I'm like, nah. I'll watch videos on YouTube. It's fine. I saw them when I was young. That was when at their peak. I'm good with that. I have that memory. Nice. So yeah, Luminous Cloud, feel free to share your Depeche clips. Cool. Let's slide on in. Welcome everybody to another Selway Techno Saturday here on 343 TV, right there. Brought to you by 343 Labs. I'm trying to get better at pointing around the screen accurately like a weatherman. Maybe we should do that. I should do like a weather report and stand in front of my green screen and like... 343 Labs is a music production school in New York City and Berlin. And online, of course. Here we are online, hanging out together on this mostly weekly live stream we've been doing for a while. I'm the last man standing. We had every day for a while. It was pretty serious, especially during lockdown when we all were like, indoors most of the time or just, working from home. And, I'm still doing it. I love it. It's a highlight of my week usually. No one's perfect. But I like hanging out with you guys and making techno and or electro. So anyway, it's one of the many ways that we've reached out to grow our community, our student base. If you're interested to know more about 343 Labs, you know what to do. There's a description below with some links in it. You can click on them, and it'll take you to find out more information about all of the courses that we have on offer, our one-year program, our Discord community, which is something you should definitely join if you haven't already because, well, it's good. And there's cool people there who are doing lots of different kinds of music, not just techno and electro. But if you're hanging out here regularly, you should be in my Selway feedback channel because that's where you will submit your submissions to the various techno and electro feedback sessions that we do here on the stream live every now and again. I know I always tease you. I'm lining up another one. Still working on it. Next one will be techno. And then there will be an electro one before the end of the year. So there'll be 2 more this year. And as always, it's like I do it with a guest, and it's confirming the guest, and ideally someone new every time, not always. I like bringing back friends as well. Speaking of friends, I don't know if those of you who have been longtime viewers know that I used to do the Techno Tuesdays instead of Saturdays. And I started occasionally, doing these conversation-oriented interview or just group hangout-oriented Techno Friends sessions and episodes. And I was thinking about doing that again. I mean, I know it's not as much of a thing now, mostly post-COVID, right? But there were DJs with beers, and there was the one that Speedy J did that I can't remember what it's called now. It just slipped my mind, but might have some people just to come and hang out. It's a good way to get some different perspective and what's going on in the world of electronic music in terms of techno and electro, and the people that I know anyway. And it's a great way for me to reconnect with people I haven't hung out with in a while. So, and it's maybe interesting for you guys to be a part of the chat and be a part of the conversation. So, might do that. Simple Sam is definitely a long-time viewer. He's been a part of our community. He's taken some of our classes and been a part of our 343 studio program, which we're not currently running anymore, but you can still access all the crazy videos we had if you sign up for our 1-year program. So anyway, Mundulator is asking about sound design for mental dark basses. I mean, I think I know what you mean. I'd want some audio examples. And actually, that's another thing we could, I mean, it's not exactly Selway feedback channel stuff, but since that's sort of the hangout for the people who are in this chat regularly, you could, like, if you have questions like that, ideas for the show, you could put them in there. And that's like, actually, that makes sense. It's Selway, it's feedback for me. Like, if you have any feedback for me or ideas for me about stuff we could look at, or wish lists of, I wish you could get this guy as a guest on your show, that kind of thing. And it gives me some ideas of who to reach out to that you all are interested in. And if I can, I will. So yeah, maybe, so Mundulator, if you have some tracks, examples that have the exact kind of sounds that you're talking about that I could listen to ahead of time and have a little bit of preparation, that'd be great. Oxygen Levels Critical would love an interview with Scape One. I reached out to him before a while back, and he was busy. So that's a good reminder. I'll see if he might be interested. He's a very prolific producer and has a lot of knowledge. So yeah, it'd be great to talk to him. And that's right. Ben Colts is reminding me. Chris Liebing had that was DJs and Beers, right? Wasn't that the Chris Liebing one? And it was him and a couple other guys regularly with the occasional guest. Who else is here in the chat that I didn't shout out yet? Bug Tank. Yes, and I already answered some questions from you guys. Oh, Ben Colts is asking about this microphone. This is an SE Electronics Dynacaster. Usually I have it covered up with this, and I realized that sometimes my beard would brush the foam. I don't know if you can hear that. I was listening back to one of the shows, and I was like, what is that noise? It's my beard tickling the microphone. So I took it off. And yeah, Itzy is mentioning Store. Yeah, I think that's the live collaboration project that Speedy J started up over lockdown, and they were doing all that remote stuff, which I thought was amazing. Who else is in here? Anybody new? Gunther. Hello, friend. And Monochrome Echo. Did I say your name already? It's a cool name. Cool handle. And yeah, I think that is cool. For some reason, I'm trying to scroll up and down in the chat, and oh, there it goes. My trackpad like died for a second. Glad that came back. Aaron has this said, sample my beard and make some beard beats. It's the beard challenge. Who has a beard? Let's make some techno out of it. It's possible, right? Any noise can be turned into some other sound. So that's a little silly, but and James Borch is late. James, see me after class. All right. So what actually are we going to do today? So will it be techno? Will it be electro? I actually loaded up one of the project that I was working on before with when I was trying out that Thump plugin, and it was doing something slightly more industrial dark-ish sounding techno. Right. I haven't done much more to it, except other than a little bit of audio tweaking, a little bit of slight mixing, and the sub wasn't quite full and rolling enough, so I worked on that a little bit, and I realized, those are really bright hi-hats, and I think I need to maybe smooth those out a little bit. I mean, it's okay for now. And then This sound, I was like, do I really like this? It almost sounds like a, you know that boing when you bounce a basketball on a hard surface? It sounds like that through distortion. It's got that little boing boing kind of tweak to it. And I decided, all right, I'm not 100% sold on the sound. I might leave it, but we'll see. It's also really dry. I haven't figured out how I want to space it out yet. Uh-oh. What's up with my CPU today? I'm having some, this is an M1 Max. This is supposed to be able to handle all sorts of stuff, and it's usually rock solid nowadays. For some reason today, it's giving me little warnings. Let me actually quit the Safari there, and I don't know what else can we quit. I mean, my mail doesn't need to be open, and the messages doesn't mean. I mean, these don't take up any power at all. But let's just be careful and quit all the stuff that doesn't need to be open. Gunter is not a big fan of long-tailed kick drums. Well, this is not a long-tailed kick drum. I know what you mean. It's this, it's being filled in with that. Ken Olden, that's a new name. How you doing, Ken? Ken wants to know if he should use swing over 140 beats per minute. How important? Oh, in electro. I would say be real careful with swing and electro. Not that you shouldn't do it, but most electro is more straight. Now, that doesn't mean it's always perfectly quantized. You might have the occasional beat a little bit earlier or a little bit later. It depends on the vibe that you want. But I think like the faster your tempo, the more careful, the more precise and subtle you need to be with things like swing. That's general advice. It depends on what you're trying to do. Like I would need to hear it in context to really know. But try it out for yourself. Make a beat and then apply swing and then adjust the amount of swing and see if you like it or if you don't like it. I suspect that at faster tempos, too much swing is going to get a little messy sounding, potentially. So lower percentages, lower amounts of swing would probably work better at faster tempos. All right. Nice aside. That has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, but who cares? I'm here to hopefully inform you. Every now and then, I will answer unrelated questions. Actually, let's make it related to what I'm doing. What if I swing this? What's going to happen? If I could use a groove from the Groove Engine, and we'll go down to 16th somewhere. Swing, 16. So yeah, 16.1 is going to be a tiny bit of swing, and 16.6 or higher, right, is going to be more swing, right? The higher the number. Let's type in swing. This is turning into a swing lesson, not swing dancing lessons. There we go. All right, so swing 16th, 52, actually not 1. I don't know. I think that must be a duplicate of something else. But 52 is barely swinging at all. And 71 to 73 is swinging a lot. I'm just increasing the swing. Not bad, actually. It makes it feel like a little more stompy, a little more bouncy. But does that work with the kick drum? I mean, it works with the kick drum. Does that work with the hi-hats? No. That's okay. But, if I make this 73, did it do it? No, that's 30 seconds. Sorry. Don't ignore that. That's messy. Now, some of you more old school guys might remember some tracks by DJ Rush that were really hard and fast, but highly swung. Kind of like this. Almost like too much, but so wild and so banging. Somehow DJ Rush got away with it. These crazy swung things. And I think everything has to swing together or else it gets cluttered and messy. Luminous Cloud, minimal electro house is doused in swing. Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's also like triplets and stuff. There's a line between swing and triplets. They're not always the same. But like that, with this particular sound and this particular groove, that doesn't work. But a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of swing. A little clicky though. I don't mind the clickiness. It's like percussion. And if I do that with the hi-hats have to swing too. All right, what is that? That is 16ths. And 16th, 59. All right, so this would have to be... Oh, I did 8ths by mistake. You see, I've got my glasses on and I still can't see. I'm getting old. We want swing 16. There we go. 59. I did 58. All right. I did Logic 58. I mean, I can't, what is going on? There it is. Close enough. Right, you hear how the hi-hats and the bass are now moving together. So this is totally changing the vibe of this. I'm just going to roll with it. What do you mean sometimes it doesn't work with the hi-hat? Sometimes you likes it messy. Okay, Bug Tank. Yeah. No, there is a time for that. And you're right. It can be really interesting to have swung and unswung, things that are perfectly on beat and off beat, and it creates kind of a loose groove. Sometimes if you do it just right, it can make it feel like wild in a good way, right? For me, that would be dependent on the sound. I felt like because of the clickiness on this bass sound, if it were not tight with the hi-hat, it would, for this style of techno, it might be a little much. But yeah, you're right. You can go. It could be a matter of taste. Totally. And Luminous Cloud says swing got to be used carefully, depending on the genre, right? Cool. Simple Sam says, if it sounds good, and I always say this too. If you like it, if it sounds good, if you're vibing, then it's not wrong. All good. Nice. All right. Let's see what else we can do with this. It remains to be seen whether the swing remains. And we'll discuss the ramifications of the famous phrase, if it ain't got a thing, if it ain't got that swing. If I remove the swing, does this still have a thing? Is it still a thing? Wow, I just butchered that. All right, and I got the banjo with some. It sounds like the bass guitar, distorted bass guitar. Now, I'm also not 100% sold on this sound. I reduced the amount of reverb. It was like way too much before, so we'll think about that. And then we have this guy, which also this isn't going to work now rhythmically. Maybe not working now because this is not swung. So let's see what happens. Not terrible. This might be one of those times, Bug Tank, where swung and unswung works okay together. Could be the frequency range is different enough, and the shape of the envelope on that percussive synth sound is round enough. But just for fun, there it is now, totally swinging. Which do we like better? Why am I talking like that? They both work. It's just different. Nice one, Mike Coriza. It remains to be swing. All right, so I'm not sure about the swing. You choose the vibe, right? That's making it more DJ Rush style. Although he had his kick drums way louder than this. It would be like so loud, and then the whole thing would be compressed together and just be pumping up and down like an old Daft Punk record, but harder. All right, and then we have this ravey thing. In a way, I might lean into this. I'm going to take this swing thing and make sure that it is a thing because it has swing. I want it to be meaningful. No, because so much of this heavy sounding techno and so straight and industrial and just somehow, like, it's banging and it pumps, but it's like, does it have groove, right? Sometimes it does. Most of the, sometimes it's just too right? So putting a little swing in it is giving a little bit more funkiness and grooviness, and I'm all for that. And like even this crazy mentasm-y sound that the Lush is doing, it's like a detuned 101 kind of sound. This presents a problem though, because this is being, my evaluation period has expired. So we won't be editing this one. I've been going back and forth on whether I want to buy this synth for ages. So, all right, we can't use this as I just wanted to point out that this one's being modulated internally to 16th notes, right? So, I can't quantize it I can't swing it with Live's Groove Engine. So it's just going to have to be what it is for now. Right, but you get the idea. So that might force me back into being just unswung. Luminous Cloud saying this sounds like Commander Tom. I mean, yeah, and I was kind of like riding the line with this sketch. I was starting to ride the line of this more kind of techno ravey trance crossover. Like it's not my usual thing, but right. But it's not that I dislike it. And I honestly used to do more stuff like that in the 90s. There's actually an old Disintegrator track that was not one of our more successful records called Raise Your Power. However, it was sampled multiple times by other producers. They just stole it. They took my vocal hook and made like hard trance and hardcore rave tracks out of it. You can find it if you look on Who Sampled. It's pretty funny. But I don't know. Maybe I always thought maybe Oliver Chesler and I should do a remix, a modern version of Raise Your Power, and just be like, okay, step off. This is us. This is ours. You took our vocal sample. What? Nice. What's up, Metafaith 313? It's okay. You're not late because you can just keep watching. After I stop, you can just keep watching because it's archived, right? And then, okay, he's clarifying. Luminous Cloud is clarifying. I meant the Hoover sounded like the, what is it, man? RMI. Yeah, that's some classic stuff. Sorry, my mouse is giving me all sorts of problems today. I'm like clicking on all the wrong things. Simple Sam likes the idea of the Raise Your Power remix. I'll have to pull that out and play it for you guys at some point. All right, where are we? Back to where we're at. So this is where I'm starting from. I think I'm a little thrown off by the swing thing and then this lush pattern that's not swung. That one's okay. I actually I accidentally drew in a couple of notes later in the clip, and then that one doesn't sound, it's a little more weird, right? What if we don't do the... I like that. I think I like that. I don't know why. Let's see what it sounds like looping. That one doesn't bother me. That rhythm is working better. And I think the reason why it's working better is because I'm not playing long notes. We're not hearing the straight 16th notes repeated coming out of the Lush sequencer modulation or whatever that is. How are we doing? What do we like? Yes, that's right, Metaphase. I loaded up the track from a couple weeks ago to keep working on it, because that's one of the things I like to do with you guys is kind of move forward. Showing you my slow at this point. This one I'm feeling like it's a little tedious. So what is this, Luminous Cloud? Brooklyn keeps on taking samples? Yes. I get what you're saying. All right. So I could start arranging what I have. Sometimes when I get stuck in a loop, the best way to get out of it is to start piecing together what you have. But we could also try and play around with some more sounds. I have a mini freak loaded up, which I haven't really used enough. It's got a lot of possibility. Oh, this preset, it's called Doom. That's the wrong track. Yeah, that's pretty doomy. Actually, I already like that. I'm going to do that thing where I just do whatever I do first is what I do, what gets done. I already forgot it. One of those is okay. Okay, I'm gonna quantize it and swing it. Trying to decide whether I should do the short long thing or any double like that one. Yeah, kind of. No. All right, I think these ones, the less syncopated ones work better. Instead of the off 16ths, they'll be the upbeat 8th notes. I think those are a little tighter. Just even that, but I want a little more variation now. Yeah, I don't know. No. Yeah, we're just trying them out. Yeah, I'm divided on whether I should be syncopated or more or less syncopated. Gunther, what's confusing about the delayed sound? What do you think it is? Is it too offbeat and syncopated? Is it the echo? Like, would it work better if it didn't have that long delay on it? I think the delay I did the delay, so I can turn it off. Or maybe, it's a preference too. Maybe I like more syncopated craziness. Maybe you like more straight, or maybe it's something else. I like the echo. All right, so I think I'm trying to get these two things to interact better. I like call and response. I say it over and over again. Oh, I forgot there's a tom in there. I might get rid of the tom for this because the toms are kind of, well, also they need to be swung, but I'm just going to get rid of them for now. Oh yeah, it's better without the toms. I'm going to try just open the upbeat hi-hats now. Maybe it's too loud. My voice is breaking. I must be going through puberty. I know where I'm leaning with this now. I'm trying to do this pocket funk thing where I like to have a sequence. I mean, it's not like unique to me, but having a sequence of like a melody or a rhythm constructed of different sounds alternating, right? So you're finding a spot to throw in the thing. I'm thinking of like putting a chord stab in. That was, like the first thing that came to mind, and that's going to make it less ravey and less Commander Tom, which for me I think is a good thing. It's more my style not to be nowadays. I went through this before. I grew beyond. No, I'm just kidding. I like it all. Does the banjo work? No. I don't know. I just think it's funny that we used the banjo last time. And I like this better as a percussion thing in the background rather than a main element like it started as. Because it's really busy, right? All right, so here's what else I have, and I'm sure those of you who are paying attention on social media have seen this everywhere. Everybody's like, "Whoa, Synthplant 2, AI generation from samples. Oh my God, it's amazing." It is really cool. I think this thing is so cool. I've been watching all these other people do videos and everything. Oh, that's great. And this is I don't know. I guess I was procrastinating, but I finally started playing with it. I went through these samples. I have these old. Where'd they go? Insonic Mirage samples. Hopefully, you guys hear these okay.
This is a blank formatted diskette.
That is a very famous sample.
This is a blank.
It's like when you put a sample, put a disc into a Sonic Mirage sampler and you format the disc. It puts this on there.
This is a blank formatted diskette.
And then there's a famous Jungle Brothers, in that rap group from the 80s and 90s, Jungle Brothers. They did a house tune. I'll House You, very famous, and it was produced. I think the beats were Todd Terry. I don't know if he produced it or they used his beats, but it has. I remember hearing this. This is a blank formatted diskette sample, and I dragged that into Synthplant just totally randomly to see what would happen, and it sounds like this. All right, yeah. So. That's a weird sound. I'll do this again. I'm sure I don't need to explain this to a lot of you, but those of you who haven't already seen the dozens of, I wasn't going to say hundreds, but there's probably dozens of Synthplant videos out there now that the AI algorithm or whatever it is analyzes the sample and it tries to recreate it using the internal synthesis engine in Synthplant, and it goes through a evolution, right? So and you listen to it. What? And you could, it's the more complex the sample, the more it fails, but it fails spectacularly. It makes amazing sounds that you would never think of making yourself by analyzing a sample. And then the more simple and normal the sample is, the more able it is to replicate it very closely. So giving it a human voice that's saying a full sentence, it's going to have a hard time. But it's really amazing when it almost sounds like it's talking. It almost sounds like the sample. And if you're into doing anything kind of experimental, Synthplant's already a pretty crazy plugin. Like if you look at the main interface, and it has this sort of seed thing where you can organically grow a sound and they interact with each other. It's really nuts. That's already crazy. And now they've added this. And then you can take that and genetically modify it, basically. It's really pretty wild. So excellent for experimental music, excellent for making crazy electro and techno. Definitely going to do some electro stuff with Synplant 2 because you can hear it sounds just weird and futuristic. I'm going to come back to that though because I just want to make a chord stab. So I could try to find a sound that's like a nice synth sound for a stab and then have Synplant generate something from that. These are all just weird random boing. Yeah, I feel like that's going to take... Are those too loud? Can I turn that down? Ah. It's mayhem. That sounded like a cross between dropping a pan on the floor and a cat. All right. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. So I've just put that little percussive noisy sound, which could be a techno stab in it. That's why I grabbed it. Not a chord stab, but like a noise that has some resonance in it that sounds harmonic, that's percussive, that could be cool for a techno track. All right, and let's see if Synplant 2 can make something interesting out of that. We'll click generate patches. Oh my God. I've noticed that on a lot of videos, people are a little impatient and they don't wait for it to finish. I like to let it finish. Are you okay? Are you sure? Do you need help? You sound like you're having trouble. All right, now it finished its process. So you can hear along the way, it made a bunch of cool sounds. Dude, that's awesome. All right, those are getting... Okay, how... It got really close. You see what I mean? It's really cool. And like all of these could be made into new sounds. That one, it lost its way. It got farther away. And I think you can like recalculate these from any point. There's a little button, evolve from patch. So you can click one of these and then evolve it again. Okay. And then whatever one you've selected, you can play from the... Will this even work? It's really noisy and weird. I don't know. Where do I want to... I want to drop like one stab in this pocket groove I've got going on. All right, that sounds terrible. Maybe it needs to be higher. I thought it sounded better earlier. What happened? All right, anyone tuning in right now is probably like, what the hell is going on? And Oxygen Levels Critical is saying, I have absolutely no idea what this VST is doing. I've never been more confused. Well, yeah, what it's doing is incomprehensible to us because we don't, it's AI or algorithmic code behind this interface. We don't know how it's doing what it's doing. That's proprietary to the developer. But all we need to understand is this, whatever it's called. Doesn't it have a little pop-up thing? Genopatch is what it's called, and it's sample to patch. So it's taking any audio. Let's try a different sound. It's taking any sample and analyzing it, and then using the parameters of the synth, which is a standard subtractive synthesizer. It's got oscillators and filters and modulators, envelopes and LFOs, and it has cross modulation. It can do frequency modulation. And audio effects, right? It's just the AI is using all of those synth parameters to create a sound as close as it can to the input from the sample. So let's find something more appropriate to what I'm trying to do now. It doesn't do great with harmony. I noticed it depends. So like if you put a chord into it, it might not quite get it. I'm going to try and find one of these. This has been one of my favorite sample packs for like, I don't know, 10 years or something. I keep using it over and over. I should probably get some more samples so I can get some new sounds. But let's see. Let's find stab. Yeah, something, because these are percussion sounds that sound like chords. I really like that one. I don't know if it's the right sound for this, but I'm going to throw it in there. Let's drag that into Genopatch and AI generate. It's doing a better job at emulating the sound somehow. It's more similar to the original. Come on. Come on, AI. You can do it. You can tell when it's struggling because it wiggles around more for a long time. Oh, where is it going? This is so crazy. Let's just fill up the screen with this. We're in the AI now. We're in the Matrix. Woo! Is it? Oh, one more. I wish I could. It would be really interesting to see the real-time synthesis parameters, like LFO, frequency of cutoff filter, oscillator frequency. Like if you could see it doing it, that would be amazing. But that would just be a lot of numbers really fast. Okay, so I mean, that's a crazy sound. Let's see if I can get it to a note that I like. I mean, they sound cool, all of them. That sounds like a great bass sound. These are all excellent for electro and techno. I'm trying to find what that sounds the most sort of chord-like. That's a good one. That's similar. That is wrong. I like all of these sounds. I mean, and it's a synth, so you can, and it's polyphonic, so you can. I'm playing chords now. Yeah, that's more like what I was thinking of, like a techie, futuristic chord stab, right? Somehow, where are those notes? All right. Eek. Just a minor triad. Probably too much reverb on that sound. All right, so that's sort of what I was thinking of doing. Oh, this is getting confusing. Is that an odd? Oh, I see what I did. No, I didn't see what I'm doing. What is happening? This is crazy. For some reason, some of the clips were starting wrong. Okay. Oxygen levels critical. Do you now know what this VST is doing? Do you have an idea? Where are we at? Where are we at? Maybe should have removed, Simple Sam says, maybe should have removed the reverb from that before putting it in. Was there reverb on it? Well, okay. Right, so this is the regular Synplant interface. This is where you can start doing this like organic, weird genetic modification, and there's a reverb wet dry effect wet dry here. All right, that is not still the right rhythm. Can increase the release, maybe. So that's like That's what I just did, this guy. And then this is the other thing about Simplant, if you're not already aware, is that each of these, oops, I just messed it up. Right, so each one of these branches can be different. That's the wrong one. So every note on the scale can be a different sound, basically. So each one of these. But I'm breaking it now. You can also go in and like see the DNA and be like, all right, I like that, but it's a little too bright. I want to filter it. So then you got to go in and find the filters, the filter type. These are all the parameters that the AI is messing around with. There's the filter frequency. Click on that, and there's and then you can go in and do your typical synthesis, right? You can go in and adjust it. So under the hood, it's just a regular synthesizer. I think it's great. This has been a bit of a digression from working on the track, I guess, but I've messed it up. Too much resonance. I'm going to pull that back a little bit. Here's the reverb mix. There's also chorus, or that's actually chorus parameter of the reverb. This is a little tricky. There's this interface isn't great. It really, but at least it's got a description of each parameter. So, all right, let's go back to figuring out whether this actually works with the whole groove. I mean, it's usable. All right, I could live with that. Santiago wants to try it an octave down. All right. Also, it needs some processing. Let's put an EQ and a compressor on it. Right, yeah, there's a lot going on in there now, especially that I've lowered it. Really percussive. Smoothing it out a little bit, compressing. It's interesting. It's got a complexity to it, like harmonically. What does it sound like with some reverb? You know me, I always work fast with live devices. I could go into some fancier stuff, but let's just throw on, for a start, let's throw on some hybrid reverb. Presets. I already like that, right? It's bright. It's filling in a frequency. It's not making it muddy. What am I doing? Is this I want it to be quieter. Is this synth reacting to velocity? No. So that's something I'd have to go in. I'm generating that sound, but now there's no velocity sensitivity. I want that to be quieter and darker. Where do I do that? Velocity sensitivity is off. There it is. Ooh. So some of those parameters that the AI tweaked are also velocity sensitive, so they're already reacting differently to the velocity. Let's listen to that. Cool. It's doing, there's frequency or pitch or something is changing the notes or the whatever. That's crazy. Stop. Thank you. It's hard to control. There's some kind of, I think what I'm hearing, there's some cross modulation. There's some higher frequencies being created from audio rate modulation. And whatever that is, the pitch is changing. The rate of that or frequency of that is changing depending on the velocity. That's what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like. All right, that's too busy, but I like this. How are we doing for time? It's about 2:30. Think we're about to wrap it up for today? All right, generally respectful freestyle. It's like popcorn in the microwave. That's right. The little ping, pong, ping. Yeah, they're bouncing around in there. So that's, you just named the track. This is microwave popcorn. I'm going to save it. I'm serious. It may just be a working title, but let's see that. Microwave popcorn. And you can have like 0.00001 of my royalties of Spotify, which is like, I'm just kidding. Cool, guys. This, I feel like I got somewhere today. I'm still not, I thought I might go more into arranging, honestly, but I really wanted to finally dive into Synplant a little bit and see how I would apply using Synplant 2 to making techno. I mean, I've used the first version of Synplant many times before. It's a very distinctive sounding synth, regardless of this AI thing or not. It's always been one of those like, oh, I need a sound in my track that stands out and is different, and almost always Synplant would provide it. And the old version is cool too. It's more FM synthesis, actually. This one's more subtractive synthesis, but it can also do FM. And it has this very distinctive, bright character to it, I think. But also because of this crazy interface and the whole organic growth thing and this DNA kind of model, and how you can play a melody and each note of the melody sounds different and they interact with each other. The modulation between the notes, you have to play with, try the demo of this or whatever, try it out and play it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. There's also plenty of other people who do deeper dives into how it works on YouTube and etc. So I've always liked it, and now they've got this whole new AI-based Geno patch, sample to patch thing. I think is amazing, especially if you like to get weird and experimental. But if you're careful with it, you can make interesting, more normal sounds too. So you might like a sample in your library, and you're like, I wish I had a synth that sounded like this, and so it'll do it. It'll do it pretty closely, and then you can have like a nice, and then it'll quickly make many interesting variations. So I like it. I'm a fan in general of this developer. Sonic Charge, I've been using Microtonic and their other percussion stuff. We've used that on the stream before. So yes, looks like great fun. And he's right. Sample Sam is right. It is great fun. I hope you all have had fun today. Ben Colts, I see you. Ben Colts wants me to see if I can get Time Warp artists on the show. It depends on who it is and how well I know them, or if I have any connections. But yeah, good suggestion. And I'll remind you, join the Discord. You have other reasons besides track submissions to get in the Selway feedback channel on the 343 Labs Discord. I'd be really happy to get any of your suggestions on topics for shows, sounds you're interested in recreating, guests that I could possibly have on. And of course, yeah, if you want to, get in on the feedback sessions, that's the place to be. That's where you'll post your submissions. So thanks, everybody. It's been fun as always. Wrapping it up now. I'm going to go back to my relaxing, rainy, gray Saturday here in New York City. And I'll see all of you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Adios.